Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Gator Gang Network. I'm your host, Bobby, and I am joined with my co-host, Lucas, here tonight. How's it going, Lucas?
One last game in the swamp. Send the seniors out with a W.
That's what I'm talking about. Senior night in the swamp in December. It doesn't get
It
any
might not be
crazier than that for 2020, does it?
it might not be the senior night that we're all expecting, but I hope we can send the seniors out with a W and
Exactly.
send them
We
out right
don't.
away. Because they have been here for four straight. They arrived at 4-7 and then three straight winning seasons. So I'm very proud of the culture they have helped build.
The last 3 years have looked really good compared to the last 7 years before that. So, Gator Nation is grateful for where we've been to how far we've come since then under the Dan Mullen era. Those of you who are watching, make sure y'all like this, share this, and also like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I did not put it in the description below, but you can always go to the Gator Gang page and find it. Um, Late start tonight. Laptop wasn't wanting to work, has some technical difficulties. That's why we're running a little bit late. But without further ado, we are going to get into it. Kyle Trask leads our. Oh, here we go. We got Darryl in the house tonight. Wasn't
What's
sure
up,
if Darryl
Daryl?
was going to be able to make it, but what's up, Darryl?
It's static, you guys.
It's that I can hear you perfectly fine. Hopefully you'll be able to hear me as we go on. You able to hear me? No. All right. Well, we're gonna continue this, and hopefully Darryl will be able to hear us or something. I'm not sure what's going on his end, but Lucas, as you made a great point. Senior night in the swamp. We got to send these seniors out with a win. It's not your typical year of 2020. It's been a crazy year. No Gator Walk, no festivities of anything really. So these seniors have had a crazy year, and the best thing that we can do is send them out with a win. And I know the Gators are going to be ready to play 7 o'clock.
And it's under the lights too. I was gonna mention that.
Yeah, 7 o'clock under the lights in the swamp, 2020. I guess it don't get no better than that. But Kyle Trask leads the Florida Gators on offense, the high-powered offense that we've seen all year. We've seen these little gimmicks here and there, but for the most part, they are flying, high-powered, and ready and able to get things done on the offensive side of the ball. However, defensively, we've seen the ups, we've seen the downs, we've struggled a little bit. But in hindsight, looking back at all the games and everything that we've had, we're not as bad as we look, but we just give up some plays that we probably shouldn't be giving up. Darryl, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, it's a lot better now. I don't know why it was so bad earlier, but yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool.
I don't mean to cut you off, but LSU's got another guy opting out for the game.
Yeah, LSU is having their thing. I seen something on the internet today. I was at work when I was looking at it, so I really didn't get to see the in-depth of it. But if you guys know what I'm talking about and kind of inform me a little bit, but I seen something about LSU foregoing a bowl this year. However, they're not bowl eligible to begin with, but they're having a ban for whatever reason.
Because every team is bowl eligible because of COVID, and every team can be in a bowl game basically.
Yeah, that's correct. Every team has a bowl berth this year, basically. I don't know how they would work all that out.
So anybody who's watching this around, y'all want to drop a comment? I'm gonna give y'all my thoughts about this. Everybody being bowl eligible and being able to go to a bowl game. So we are going to have our meaningless bowls that we normally would have every year.
I would assume so.
That's the only way I see that happening.
Yeah.
But With that being said, with all the issues surrounding COVID,
So basically, you could have a winless team be in a bowl game.
that doesn't sound very attractive, or anything that should be happening. But my take is this: instead of having your meaningless bowl games and players, interacting with each other, possibly contracting COVID-19, why don't we take and this is a year of 2020 that has been completely different. I want to see the playoff committee say, okay, we are going to make it from a 4-team playoff to an 8-team playoff, and you finesse it from there. You kind
By
of
the
do
way,
an
by the
8-team
way,
bubble.
Florida, if they do that, Florida will be in the playoff no matter what.
Exactly. So Florida would get their
So
shot, and you'd have some other teams that are maybe kind of be like a little Cinderella type thing if you take your top 8 and make it happen that way. It's an option. I think it's something that if they want to eventually expand it to 8 teams, this year would probably be the best year to try it out and see how it goes. For kind of, I don't know.
Should
How do
be
I
you feel about it, Daryl?
I agree. I mean, this would be definitely a year they could try it out. And to touch more on about the bowl eligibility, so not every team will be able to play in a bowl, even though every team will be bowl eligible, because you still have to be invited to the bowl by the bowl committee. So teams like LSU and these big name schools, of course, they'll probably get invited to some of these places, but you might not see an 0-12 team get invited to a bowl game.
Right. And
Basically,
it
they would be eligible to go, but you still have to get an invite by these committees.
right, and we only have so many things happening, and then with Ohio State in the Big Ten, um,
Don't even
doing
get me
their
started on
thing
Ohio
of
State. I don't
making
even think
rules
they
up.
should be.
Hold on, Lucas. Hold on, buddy. Let me talk, bud. The Big Ten is kind of basically making rules up as they go along the season, and
Oh,
I
they're
think
like,
that's
oh,
something
Ohio State
that
can
if
Ohio
you
State
have
can only play 5 games. We're gonna make them 5 games. And,
if you have a team that is, like Ohio State, who is in a conference as they are, and you're only having them play 6 games and playing the strength of schedule that they have, the only team that you could really say that they've really played is Penn State. But we see that Penn State isn't what we thought Penn State would be. So they're able to
well,
play
then,
6 games, make their conference championship game, and I think that they should be able to have to play at least 8 games, not just 6 to make them, conference champions or in the conference championship game. Because I think if the SEC did that, it would make the SEC look like a joke, and that's kind of how I see the Big Ten at the moment. I know a lot of Big Ten fans and all of that probably don't like what I'm saying, but that's just the truth of the
I
matter.
agree with you. I agree with
It's
you.
I
just
I agree
I
with you.
agree. I agree. The Big Ten, first of all, they
It's
weren't even going to
basically
play football, and then second of all, they all of a sudden decided to play football because the other conferences were, and now they're behind the 8 ball. I don't think the other conferences should have to be
you
playing
know
10, 11 games while you have to play 6 and then you're still in. I mean, that's to me is ridiculous. And I
you
do
know what's
realize that it's a
also
2020 year, but and
yeah,
Ohio State may be one of the better teams in the country for sure, but I think they should still have to earn it.
you know
yeah.
what's also dumb? They didn't even put any bye weeks in there. That's
Yeah, they didn't even plan for any shutdowns, and you can tell that it's hurting them now. But
They're struggling, but due to their lack of competition that they've played, how do you think it'll be when they actually play a real team? Like,
we're gonna. They're
will
gonna
they
play
be
them
ready
out.
for it, or will they just not be ready because all they've played is like under the competition, teams? Because I've alluded to this throughout the course of this whole entire season. With I don't think Ohio State's drop below 4th in the
Mm-mm.
the top 10.
No.
They probably hit the lowest of fourth,
Yeah, their
and
highest is their lowest
and
is 4.
right, and so but they've been up there even before they even started playing football. We got in about five games, 4 or 5 games before they even considered playing a game. So they were already behind the 8 ball, as you said, Darryl. And then now that they only got to play 6 games and they're conference eligible to play in their championship game.
Which is complete bull of shit.
It is.
If I
Um,
had to, if I had to pick the final four today, I would actually have, uh, I would have Clemson number one, Alabama number two. Um, I would put Notre Dame at number three and Florida at number four.
I agree with that. I truly
I
agree
would
with
put
that.
the
But I would flip 1 and 2. I would put Bama 1, Clemson 2,
Yeah.
Notre Dame
Well,
3,
the only
Florida
reason
4.
why I swapped Alabama and Clemson was because we're going to beat them in 2 weeks.
Right, but I've seen so many scenarios to where, yes, we may if Florida beats them, Alabama in a lot of polls that I've
Florida
seen,
beats them in
Alabama
the
would
close
still be in
Illinois
the
one for the
in
game.
that fourth playoff spot.
Mm-hmm.
But if Florida loses, we would be out.
Yeah.
So we definitely got to have this game against LSU. We've got to have the game against Bama, and we're in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But that seems to be the thing right there.
I
Um,
mean,
if that happens, that means we're going to play Bama twice.
yeah, possibly.
And nobody beats Nick Saban twice.
Well, here's the thing. We beat Alabama and Atlanta in 2 weeks. That to me is going to be the national championship game, in my opinion. So
Yeah. But we got LSU this weekend, and last year we lost 42-21,
28.
41-21,
28.
and
It was
we played
28.
LSU probably in their best game of their season, in their national championship season.
And
Obviously, this year they are not having the season that they thought they would
then,
have. They've had some players opt out. They've had issues here and there. They have a young team, but Florida's going to look to come out and get revenge on their loss last year in Baton Rouge, playing in the swamp in front of the 17,000 fans that are going to be in attendance there. It's obviously not going to be what it is, but what it would normally be, as you said earlier, Lucas. But I just think that Florida, they're going to come out hot. They're going to come out ready. A night game in the swamp is usually pretty loud, and I say for 17,000, they will be pretty loud, as loud as 17,000 can possibly be.
yep.
yeah, I think it'll be a good
And
game.
we're wearing all blue. We're wearing all blue tomorrow.
Yes, for those who haven't seen the uniforms, the orange helmet, blue tops, blue bottoms, and the end zones are blue. The outskirts on the outside of the end zone are orange. So
Which
we're
is
switching it up
badass.
a little bit.
Yeah.
So definitely a look that we're all going to love to see.
Yeah,
Which
make
is
it loud
bad.
out there.
Which is
Yes,
badass, by the way. And early signing day is Wednesday too.
Wednesday's early signing day.
Yeah.
Wow, that's here already. So Lucas, let's give the fans a little bit on the recruiting of how we're looking with Sorey and some other players. What's the latest news that you got in the recruiting department?
Damian Story, from what I've been told, is probably Georgia, but we're in it for him. But he's gonna be in Gainesville, so we'll see how that goes. But the latest intel I got was Georgia. Taylor Arnold will be there, and then we got a couple players, and most of the class will sign early. Like 23 of the 26 commits that we have will sign early. So December will be active and fun for UF. Let's see who we can add on Wednesday. I don't think we're gonna get Story, but I think we're gonna get the other guys.
We have some recruits that are really looking hard at Florida. We're in the top three, for some big recruits. We've already got some big names on the list, but we're just trying to add to it and stack it up even more and get that depth. I believe that win
I
against
tried to. I
Georgia
tried
was
to
a
keep
big
up with it.
win in the recruiting department, because Florida needed to get over that hump, as we've been saying all year. This was Florida's year to beat Georgia.
And
If
we
you're going to
still
do it, it had to be this year. And Dan Mullen is and the coaching staff have been great on the recruiting trail. We're just doing great things. Florida's come a long way in 3 years. Um,
If you would have told me, I know I've said this, but if you would have told me we'd be what 28-6, 22-6, or whatever that.
we're up there. We're up there with. I mean, there's some seasons that we've had 6 losses in one season, and here we are working on 3 years, and all we got is 6 losses. I mean that's pretty
And
good
two,
in my book,
two
if
New
you
Year's
ask
Six
me.
bowl wins,
Yeah,
and now
yeah,
possibly a SEC championship, a Heisman Trophy winner, maybe
yep,
more. I
yep.
mean,
Yeah,
Um,
we're still gonna have a Ford statue.
I
yeah,
I think
I
so.
think the shots on Ford
it's looking
Johnson.
that way.
I think
Speaking of Heisman Trophy, Kyle Trask is the front runner. He's also the SEC leader right now, and he's just he's breaking records in 10 games that other players and teams have not done in a 12-game schedule, and not and to mention it's an all SEC schedule, which is your toughest conference of all the Power Five. That's without a doubt. You compare any other conference to the SEC, you're going to give the SEC the nod every single time.
he is one away from tying Danny and two away from setting the record.
Exactly, he sits at 38 touchdowns, 3 interceptions on the entire season. I'll bring that stat up. 3,243
Bobby,
yards.
you might see some history tomorrow night.
Yes, it's gonna be great. For those of y'all, I will be at the game, so I will go live and kind of show y'all
Who's
bits and
doing?
pieces
Do we
of the
know who's
game.
doing two bits tomorrow?
Um, I don't know. Uh, are they doing the 2 bits during the before the game?
Yeah, they
I
are.
would think so.
I would think so. I mean, you're only having one person in the center of the field. There's a lot of social distancing right there. So
Yeah.
I would say it's eligible to happen. But you won't
Percy
get your
was the
your traditional
Percy
no
was
Gator walk this year.
Nope.
Um, I,
Percy
I
was the one.
I
Percy was
hope
two
the
bits and only
seniors.
like
How many seniors are there? The 17?
27 or something like that.
Yeah, 27 or 17. I knew it was something with a 7. So let's send them boys out with a win. Lucas, as you said earlier, the last 3 years have been great for the seniors. Dan Mullen in year 3.
93,
Next
10
year will be
and
year
2,
4.
93, 10
Um,
and 2, and 8 and 1.
yeah, so Dan Mullen has done a lot of what he's done with players that he didn't even recruit. From year 1, 10 games,
He's
year
been
2,
27
10
and
games, and year 3, we're looking at going 9-1. And just the regular season, just talking regular season,
Mhm.
but in a 10-game schedule, that's pretty good. I guess you can say that we would have won our 10 games if we had the schedule, that was before the before COVID schedule.
Yeah.
For 2020. But then everything's looking
we,
really good for
and
Florida
guys,
coming into
we
tomorrow
should be
night.
undefeated. We should be undefeated going to this game if Davis doesn't fumble at the end.
I don't. I don't know if you want to exactly put that on Malik Davis. Mistakes happen, but our,
I
our
don't think we got.
defense should have stepped up, and played better that game. I mean, we were on the road. It's a tough road game. Jimbo Fisher, he's had our number at Florida State.
That
He
Texas
comes.
A&M team turned out to be a pretty good team, though.
Yeah, they have a pretty good team.
So
They've only got one loss on the season, so they're hanging up there.
and that was
I
to
don't
the
know if
number
you
one
guys
team.
can see it, but I
Yeah,
got a Jordan Reed jersey, and it's
yeah,
signed. Somebody gave me a Jordan Reed jersey.
yes, yeah. As we had mentioned earlier, Kyle Trask 2 passing touchdowns from Danny Warfel, and I know I had said this on Monday night's podcast. when we were talking about it with Nick about this game. Rather, it should be played. Darryl, I'm going to give you this question because you were not on the podcast on Monday night. But how did you feel about like this game versus LSU being played? Because obviously, if you ask the players, that they would want to play it, but this game is not going to impact the SEC championship game, and Alabama playing Arkansas is not going to impact the West. So
Yeah, I thought about that, and I guess I had thought about it along the regards of before I realized that Alabama had actually swapped Arkansas game. I was actually thinking this game might be canceled because they were going to make Alabama play it, but then I realized that they swapped the 2 weeks.
mhm.
I mean, it is even though it's not necessarily a East opponent, it is one of our rivals that we tend to forget about, and we play them every year. Um, so I mean, I'm glad it's being played. I think it's the right thing to do.
I
I do
agree.
too.
I mean, I do want to see this game played, but the one thing that I don't want is maybe a COVID issue.
Or
Prior
maybe
going into
injuries.
the SEC
I'm
championship
not gonna
game,
warn you, but I don't want an injury. That's one thing, especially
Yeah,
and that's another thing that I was about to get into is an injury to a key role player.
Kyle Trask.
Um,
Thank God. Please tell me. Let's hope he doesn't get injured. But if he does,
I'm knocking on some wood over here. We definitely don't want Kyle Trask to get injured, or any player for that matter, because these are college students. You never want to see an injury happen. They work so hard in practice and in school throughout this week, and I do believe that this week, coming up, they are going to be having exams and
they are.
getting
They
ready
are.
for
I
all
know
of
that.
that.
I know that for a fact because I had to take some exams this past week.
Yeah. So when you look at what they're going to be going through, these players are going to be running around crazy between doing their exams, practice, getting ready for the biggest game of the season and the SEC championship game. Because coming into the season, our goal was to win the SEC East, and we have done that. And
Let me ask you this. I know we talked about it. I know I posted it in the page. But let's say we lose the close game to Bama and it's close. Would you guys still consider the season a successful one? I would.
Absolutely, absolutely. If it's a close game and we lose this game, I say it's a very successful season for the year that it's been an all SEC schedule. Dealing with COVID and dealing with playing some of our earlier games without a lot of our players due to COVID and due to injuries and all this, that, and the other. I
I
would
would
say it's a
just
pretty
because
successful season.
it shows we're on the right track. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. It shows that we're trending. We
I
did get over the Georgia hump. That
yeah,
was something that I wanted to see happen.
that's what I was going to touch on. I was thinking, just kind of checking the marks. The Georgia win to me was a sign of improvement. Getting to the SEC championship game was obviously a sign of improvement.
Mhm.
And look, if we lose to the number one team in the country, Alabama, I'm not going to be. It's going to be
Granted, I
disappointing,
want to
but
W because my
you
birthday is the
know,
day after the game.
but
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 hey,
if we did lose a close game to them, then I'd be proud that we gave them a fight. But um, it ain't going to be close. Florida's going to blow them out.
granted, I want a W because my birthday is the day after the game. But hey,
That would definitely be a great birthday present right there for Florida to get the win against Alabama.
It's going to be
Um,
52-10 Florida.
yeah, at the
you're
moment,
already going. We already played the OU game yet.
if this was game week for the SEC championship game, Alabama would be a 14-point favorite. I'm not taking that 14. I say it's going to be between a 3 and 7 point game. Rather it be Florida or Alabama. I think it's going to be a really close competitive game. I just got that itch that it's going to be one for the ages.
52-10.
What if I David Wise brought this up. What if Michael Wilson makes the game-sealing play in the SEC championship game with all the things going on and people ragging on him? I'd be so
Uh,
happy for the good.
mm, if that happens, congratulations and hats off to Marco Wilson. But this year he has not had the year that we have expected him to have. He just hasn't been that marquee
He
player
hasn't been the
that
same
we
player
have.
since he's told. I don't mean to cut you off, but he hasn't been the same player since the ACL injury against Kentucky 2 years ago.
Exactly, he just hasn't been, and losing C.J. Henderson last year, that's definitely was a big loss for the corners, and we've had some players step up. We in what game was it? The uh, Missouri game that we had the 9 players that were out on defense. We got to see a lot of young talent come in, and the young talent played pretty good. And I thought that was a huge step in the right direction of getting them some play time. And as I
Young
said,
player,
not having
I mean,
spring, not having a traditional fall, you lose a lot of that practice time to see what players are good at and what situations. So it just kind of go week by week, game by game, and just the in practices they're not able to have the whole team practice. You got your defensive line over here, your wide receivers over here, your offensive line over here. It's just you're kind of everywhere, trying to social distance, trying to make sure everything can kind of come together. But it's just a year. I mean, everybody's dealing with this, so I'm not making an excuse for Florida because every team in America that's playing football is dealing with the
God,
same
I
exact
hope.
issues.
God, I hope it's a normal year next year.
I
Right.
do too.
Yeah, I'm hoping we get back to a normal year. I don't think for those of you, I don't think 2021 is going to start off any better. But I think as the year goes on, we're going to see improvements and kind
I
of get back to normal.
I do believe that if we have a normal football next year, it probably will be required to have a vaccine and proof of that.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Anyway, let's get into our score
Like
prediction.
I think even
We're already 30 minutes into this subject.
Ticketmaster is coming up with a COVID vaccine approval thing before you can even get into the stadiums.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I did not mean to bring that up. Anyway, we got Florida, LSU in the swamp. Big game. Florida's wearing their all blue. I seen on Twitter that we have played LSU in our all blue 9 times, most out of any opponent we've ever played.
The
So
last time
um,
was 18, and we know how that ended.
yeah,
With
yeah, we
the
know how that ended. So we're just gonna go out and get the win. I think we
Yeah,
can do it.
we can do
Um,
it.
but
LSU is a good team, but we can beat
I
them.
got 28-3.
they're a hard fighting team.
Yep.
They got a lot of heart. I'm not knocking them whatsoever. I just know that it's going to be a hell of a game. I
I
think
got
it's going to be a
20.
hell of a game for our offense, and um, LSU's defense is suspect. And some things that I wanted to get into is we are converting 51% on third down conversions, and our defense gives up 38.1% on third down.
Which is
Now,
not that bad if you
which is
consider.
not that bad. But a lot of the third downs that we've kind of given up are these third and longer, 6 and higher that we have kind of given up, and that's
Yeah,
not something that we need to be giving up.
I do think that our defense looks worse on film than stat wise, but
Yeah,
because even if I go back and watch like highlights of the games, the rewinds of the games, and you look at the key plays, I mean, like the defense played really well last week. I mean, honestly, and
You weren't on
even
the recap of the Tennessee game, but we talked about how Harrison Bailey did not play that bad.
yeah, I mean, really, when you think about it, some of these games, I mean, these are SEC teams, right? These are the best conference teams in the conference. So regardless of whether even Vanderbilt, I know they've got lots of losses, but they can go beat teams that aren't in our conference. So um, I'm not disappointed. I know we haven't exactly stopped everybody, but we have won, and it hasn't really been extremely close in some of these games. So we've put up points, and I just think that
We got one more week before
yeah,
the big
yeah.
before the
I
big.
mean, we go out there beat LSU and get ready, get focused. Those boys will be ready for the Alabama game. I promise you that. You're going to
Okay.
see a
Well,
different team.
yeah. One thing before we get into our score predictions that I do want to mention is John from Tennessee had mentioned we need a new coach on defense next year. Um, if Todd Grantham don't get it together tomorrow night or in the SEC championship game, do we see a new defensive coordinator next
Yeah,
year?
I honestly think we should. I honestly think I don't know about you, but I think Shirley Strong would be a great fit. He
Okay.
knows Mullen, and he
I'm going to say no. And the only reason why I'm going to say no is I mean, Todd and Grantham and Dan Mullen have been together for too long. I don't think they'll get rid of them.
Um, I'm gonna give you both scenarios of how I feel about it. I say no. My answer is no because of 2020 being the year that it's been, and when you look at sacks, we're ahead in sacks. We lead the SEC in sacks or tied with Georgia. Um, we're good. We only give up 38% on third down. And we know that's our Todd and Grantham, Grantham and Long. And I just think that he's going to get another shot next year. On the flip
now
side,
if it's bad next year, then we gotta.
Yeah, I think next year you start having conversations, but I don't think. I just think Todd and Dan have been together too long.
yeah, we got to get it together before
Because
the
if we
SEC
don't,
championship game.
because if
But
we
here's the
fail,
biggest thing that I want to see tomorrow night versus LSU is I do not, and I repeat, do not want to see a slow start from Florida on either side of the damn football. This first quarter, I don't know how many points we've put up in the first quarter, compared to other teams in the SEC, but it cannot be good. It cannot. And that's a stat that I'm going to look up and I'm going to try to do some in depth. So if any of y'all who are watching can help me get that stat of how many points we've put up in the first quarter
I can look it
of
up and then I can
of
look it up
each
in this
game,
or something.
yeah,
I'll
we
just
just need
write
to
down.
find that out because
Yeah,
our first quarter is garbage.
our first half's not been very good. The last couple of games,
Besides the
really.
first,
Right.
besides this last drive of the half, you're pretty much right.
If we could just put, what we do in the second half on all four quarters, man, Florida would be unstoppable.
Yeah, if we could have a complete game, we'd be pretty good. And another thing, I'd like to see the defense know where the hell they're supposed to be on defense and not look scatterbrained and just
Hey,
they just look like
Dan just needs to have the Christmas conversation again, I guess, before the
yeah.
game starts.
Yeah, before the game starts, forget 4 minutes in or 4 minutes in the left to go in the second quarter having that conversation. We need to do that pregame in the locker room.
Yeah.
Hey Todd, can't put your goddamn Christmas
Exactly. So
All
before
right,
we
let's
go
get.
tonight, Lucas, I'm gonna start with you. What is your score prediction for tomorrow night's
28
game?
to 3. And here's why. LSU is not the same team as they were last year, and
Okay.
they got so much talent, and they're not really very good. And I think just they're just hacking in, so to speak, and they don't really care. It's not that they don't really care. It just seems that they don't want to be there.
I think they're gonna come out and play Florida a tough game because I think they feel Florida, especially on the defensive side of the ball, is suspect, and they feel that they're going to be able to make some moves and go down the field. But before I get to Darryl, I'm gonna give you my prediction, and I'm gonna go 38-13. That's my score.
Eh, What is
I see
wrong with
them
you?
getting one
That's the
touchdown.
last. That's the. That's. I think that was the last. That was your score prediction last week or the week before too.
It was, but I feel like 38-13, the one touchdown, 2 field goals is all they get.
I was really close. I was thinking 31-14.
31-14. All
Yep.
right. So we're all those of y'all who are watching, drop your score predictions in the comments and let us know
And by the
what
way,
y'all
if you
think.
guys get it, we'll give you a shout out. If you guys get the closest, we'll give you the shout out on the next podcast.
Yes, we'll give you the shout out on the podcast, and
We
like
might,
Lucas
we might
does
have,
in his group, I will do the same thing in Gator Gang. If you get it on the money, or you are the closest, you can pick a Gator related cover photo. So some
and
a
by the way,
little bit of
we
little bit of
may or may
perks.
not have, we may or may not have a couple of special guests next week. So stay tuned.
Yeah, stay
Couple,
tuned. We may have some special guests. We will give y'all further details. We will not drop names of who they might be.
just, just know
It'll
that there's some of my friends that are some of the football writers. So stay.
just know that some potential good guests will be on the show.
Look, I appreciate y'all calling me special. I know I'm a
Not
special
you,
guest.
not you. I mean, yeah, you're special,
Thank you,
but
guys.
you're not the one we were talking about.
Oh,
Well,
uh,
way to shoot him down, Lucas. Way to shoot him down.
sheesh, yeah, man. Jeez.
Anyway,
Yeah. Anyway, we
I'm
got
just
some
looking forward to a good game, a
no
complete
name
game.
dropping, but we got some special guests on the way.
Yes. So, as y'all know, when we get off here, we always say, if you ain't a Gator,
You must be Gator bait.
there you go. There you
Go
go.
Gators.
Thank y'all. Y'all have a good night and go Gators.
I didn't realize we were on here